What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, an official Kickstarter review. And today I'm very excited to check out Kingdom's Lawn Game from Arthur's Board LLC. This is for 2 to 16 players. Ages 7 plus will take about 15 to 30 minutes to play. And in Kingdom's Lawn Game, you are going to be going outside, you're going to be setting up your realm with these big wooden stakes, and then you are going to be chucking your castles into that realm. Next, you're going to take your big chunky balls and you're going to try and knock over other people's castles by underhand throwing them. But there's a gamery aspect to this game, as each and every faction is going to have their own unique special ability. It is an outdoorsy, light, simple, family fun game, but is it good? Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what's going to get inside of the Kingdom's Lawn Games. Before we get started, I want to mention this is the promotional copy I have in front of me, so take everything you see here with a grain of salt. Even though I'm pretty sure it's like 99% done, it's just the rule booklet is probably going to look, nicer than this one right here. So I'm also going to warn you that I'm going to do this video in a little bit different style. I'm going to show you everything you're going to get in the bag. I'm going to give you a brief description of the game, and then we're going to go outside. I'm going to hopefully show you a little bit better how it works. So first and foremost, you're going to get this nice, thick, sturdy bag that will be carrying everything. And this is a heavy game. I'd guess it's probably 20 to 40 pounds. I probably could weigh it, but I didn't think about it. Foresight, whatever. And inside the bag, you're going to get a bunch of these stakes. Now, these stakes, these thick wooden stakes, are going to be used to mark your realm, because you're going to be creating a realm where you are going to throw your castles. And the object of the game is to be the last person with one of your castles standing. And your castles are going to be these big, thick, wooden, chunky blocks. And you're going to throw these out into your realm, which you will create with the stakes. Now, each one of these guys has their own unique special ability. And also, they're going to have many, many more different colors and different special abilities you'll be able to use in the future. But let's talk about their 4 special abilities, even though, as I'm going to say in the end part, you can easily modify them. The yellow guys, which I particularly recommend, especially if you're playing with children, giving them this color, make it so that you cannot knock down any of their colors at the beginning of the game. So the very first round, if someone knocks this down, you just pick it right back up. They cannot get knocked down. The green one, which I also think is really interesting, can throw castles and balls using any throwing motions. This means you can throw it overhand, you can throw it sidearm, whereas normally you could only throw it underhand. Next, you have the red, the Ember, which is going to allow you to throw castles and armies one step past the battle line. This one, another one, if you're playing with 2 kids, recommend giving this one, because being able to throw it from one step forward can be very useful, especially when you're playing with smaller kids. Last but not least, we have the Rune, the purple. And the Rune is going to allow you to rethrow any out-of-bounds castles, which means, there's this press your luck aspect where at the beginning of the game, you don't want to throw your castles outside these stakes. This guy doesn't have to worry about that so much. He can try and throw it as far as he can while still staying in the stakes. Next thing you're going to get is you're going to get 4 of your own color balls, which are going to be these guys right here. They're thick, they're heavy. I don't know exactly what they're made of, but you can get a feel just from the sound of it. They feel like bigger versions of pool balls, so to speak, maybe about the same weight, even though I think they might be hollow in the middle. Not quite sure. I'm sure the Kickstarter person will let you know in the comment. And last but not least, you're going to get this big bag, which will hold it all. It is a zip bag. So let's take it outside, and I'll show you how the game works. Due to the nature of this game, I'm going to be shooting outside, so I apologize for any wind, sun, anything like that. But let's go over the components, then we'll get into the gameplay. So first, you're going to be getting those sticks you saw that were outside of the bag, and those sticks you're going to be setting up in whatever kind of way you want to do in your lawn. To make the game more challenging, you can make it larger, and you can make it into various different shapes. But this is going to mark the territory that you are going to be able to play this game in. This is very important, because next I'm going to show you what are essentially your castles. So you are going to have 4 castles that will come in various different colors. So we have yellow here, we have the purple ones, we have the green ones, and each one's going to have their own unique special ability, which is in the rule booklet, which I'll show you in a second. So what you're going to do is you're going to start up your part, you're going to set up your part of the kingdom kind of right here. So my yard is very nicely differentiated, where this is going to be where we're going to be throwing our pieces. We're going to have our kingdom, and this line of grass is going to be called the battle line. And the battle line is where you're going to be throwing your balls from behind. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your 4 castles of your matching color, and then you're going to take turns and you are going to throw them out into the battlefield. Now that was a terrible throw because, let's zoom in so you can see it, it actually went out of bounds, which means I would actually lose that castle for the game, which is really, really bad. So this is where the battle line really, or the outside of the field becomes really important, because if you throw it outside of those sticks, then you lose that, which means you now only have 3 where everyone else has 4. So you're going to take turns and you're going to throw them out like such. So everyone is going to be throwing theirs out. Obviously, you want to try and throw them further, so that way they will be more difficult to hit with these balls. Now each player is going to get 4 balls of their color. Even if you're playing with less than 4 players, they have something called ghost balls, which means you could potentially earn more balls. But how this is going to work next is each player is going to go over and they're going to pick up all of their castles. So let's go ahead and pick some of these up so you can get a feel for what it's going to look like. So I'm just picking up a few of them. Obviously, you're going to have much more than this when you're playing the game. So we'll set it up just like that. So bada boom, we've got a couple set up, but obviously you would have all of them set up. But for the sake of time, we're going to do it like this. So now that we've got this all set up, kind of, that one all the way back there is out, as we mentioned. You're going to get your 4 colored balls, and you're going to set up your own specific area behind the battle line. So let's just pretend I'm yellow. I would have my 4 balls right here. Not sure where my last ball is. It's deep buried inside this bag. So now what you're going to do is we're going to take turns, and we are going to attempt to knock over other people's colors. So let's just say we were playing a 3-player game. Let's say we had green, we had purple, and we had yellow in this game. That means that the red color, if you choose to play with this variant, which I wholeheartedly recommend, is called the Ghost. And if you knock over one of these ghost ones, then you will earn a red ball for the rest of the game, which means you're going to have an extra ball, which is obviously pretty fantastic. Now, the other really cool aspect about the different colors is each color is going to have its own unique special ability, which we'll talk more about when we get to the rule booklet, because they're hoping to go huge with this and have 16 different colors that you can utilize. But let's go over how a round works. So you're going to take turns, you're going to take your balls, and you're going to throw them underhand and attempt to knock over other people's castles with the balls. So let's see if I can do it. Boom, knocked it over. So now that would be 1 less blue castle to worry. Everybody else would take their turn. I have to stay in my area behind the battle line, which I'm pretty sure is called your kingdom. And now once again, I'm going to try and knock over something else. Let's see if I can knock over that red one over there. See if we can get ourselves a ghost ball. So, oh, it didn't knock over. So that's one of the important rules of the game, is you have to knock it over if you want to do it, if you want to successfully get it. Alrighty then, Kingdom's Lawn Game from Arthur's Board LLC, coming to a Kickstarter near you very, very soon. I'll be sure to post that Kickstarter link down below. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. While it is a gamery version of an outside game, it still is going to be a very light, simple game, which might be a turnoff to some people hoping for just a little bit more strategy and nuance to the game. But don't let that scare you away. Take that as a minor nitpick. Another con that I have of this game is it says it's 2 to 16 players, and it is. But once you go past 8 players, you're only going to be throwing 1 or 2 balls on your turn. I would say ideally you go 2 to 8 players, but I did play an 11-player game of this, and everybody still had a blast. So the fact that it can accommodate 16 is still great, but at the same time, just know you're going to be throwing less balls on your turn, and you're going to be rooting more for your teammates, which once again is what a lot of people would consider a pro. But continuing on with the cons, this is going to have a premium price point because obviously it's going to be very heavy to ship because it's full of these big, thick balls and it's got these heavy wooden cubes. And even though I will say I saw the price, I think it was like 125, 150 bucks, I still think it's a very reasonable price for what you're getting in here. But still know that it is going to come at a premium price point. Another con that I have with this game is that make sure you're going to be able to play this game on a routine basis before you consider backing it, because this is not an inside game. Obviously, it's not an inside game, but you're going to need to have a pretty decent sized space. Even though my front yard isn't too big, and we played on my front yard, you're going to need to have grass or sand or dirt or something like that that you can play on. And if it snows a lot, like if you live in Antarctica or something, which I don't think many people live, but you're probably not going to want to get it then, even though I guess you could play it in the snow. So yeah, but you get what I'm saying here. You can't play it on concrete because then your balls will start to chip and stuff like that, which is bad news. So it is going to be a little bit of a harder game to get played than your typical board game, which you could easily just play inside when there's a tornado, whereas you probably don't want to play this outside in a tornado. Any other cons I have with this game? No, okay, so this one is a future potential con, and that is that I worry ever so slightly about the bag. And not because I have any problems with the bag. I feel like this bag is a very nice, thick, sturdy bag, but just I worry about the bag eventually, maybe getting wet and decaying or something like that, just because of how much weight is going to be going in this bag. Now, I want to stress and I want to reiterate that I've had zero problems with the bag that I have. It's a very nice bag, but, I just can't help worry about in the future potentially having issues with the bag because of how much weight is in the bag. So yeah, that's what I have on the con side. Any other cons that I can think of? Come into it knowing it's light, knowing it's simple, and no. Moving on to the pros, Kingdom's lawn game is fantastic. If this looks like it might be something you would enjoy, pull the trigger. Do not hesitate. Don't wait until it raises the price point and you get the MSRP. This is fantastic. This is outstanding. This is easily in my top 3 Kickstarter prototypes that I've ever received, over like 150 of them. I love this game. I love it so much. I want to say it got lost in the mail and not ship it back to the creators. That's how much I like this game. So let's talk about why I love this game. I don't like it. I love this game. First and foremost, it brings people together. This is the kind of game that you're going to play with people you like and people you love, and you're going to create memories. You're going to be going outside. It says ages 7+. Ignore that. Poppycock. I play with my 4-year-old son who loves and addicted to this game. Now, you do have to modify the rules a little bit and make the realm a little bit smaller for them. The rule that we played with was that you just had to hit it. Like, you didn't have to actually knock it over. You just had to hit it, and then that person is eliminated. But still, this is a great family game for people of any age, period. And this is the kind of game that I will bring to every outdoor social gathering I go to in the future that I know will have a space to accommodate and play this. That's how much fun it is. And also, it's the kind of thing that people are going to gravitate towards and people are going to want to play. We have been playing this nearly every other night at my house, and nearly every time we play, someone walking their dog or just walking along will stop and just watch or ask what we're doing because they're interested. And we look like we're having so much fun because, spoiler, we are having so much fun. Now, moving on to the actual gameplay, I was very pleasantly surprised about the amount of gaminess in this. So at first glance, it just looks like the only gaminess in this is that, yeah, everybody has their own unique special ability. And I really like the unique special abilities. And I hope the finished version of the rule booklet has all 16 of the planned factions, because then you can mix and match and you can really just pick which faction ability you want for your thing. It's like, all right, which ability do you want to try this time? But moving onward, I love how there's actually a really hidden element of press your luck in this game, because once you set up that realm, your goal is to throw these as far as you can in that realm, so that way they're further in the back, they're going to be more difficult to hit. But at the same time, if you go out of the realm, that is huge. That is really, really bad for you. And your teammate, if you're playing with more than one person, if it's more than just you, is going to be like, oh no, look what you did. Now we start with only 3 castles. And I like that moment. I like that little bit of pressure luck there. Another thing that I absolutely love about this game is that you can set up obstacles. And that is really cool once you start setting up things. Like, I know in the Kickstarter video, they had a ramp. And after watching that video, I was like, I want to try a ramp. And sure enough, we had the ramp. It was really cool. Look at, I'm beaming. That's how much I love this game. We were beaming at it. My wife loves this game. My kid loves this game. I love this game. Everyone I've played with has loved this game and has asked, is this something I can purchase? Is this something I can get? And I just can't reiterate this enough. I don't give Bauer's Best Seals to Kickstarter prototypes. It's just it's something that I have done right from the beginning when I started doing Kickstarters and started doing Bauer's Best Seals. This immediately, once it goes into production, is going to get a Bauer's Best Seal. This will probably crack my top 20 games of all time next year. That's how much I love this game. And this game is one of the 3 games I've ever given the title of an heirloom game to. That is a game that you do not just get rid of when you are eventually done with the game. And I don't know why you'd ever get done with this. Maybe you're moving or something like that. So Tumble and Dice and Crokinole are the other 2 games that have this title. This is an heirloom game. This is the kind of game that if you eventually ever get rid of it, someone that you know or you love is going to be chomping at the bits to get this game because the memories you have created with them. This is the kind of game that you pass down to your kids eventually. And so, yes, I absolutely am smitten 100% with this game. glowing recommendation. Go check it out. Go back it. If it looks like it might be something you want to do with your friends and family, yes, pull the trigger. I know it's going to be an upfront price point where you're like, it's a little bit expensive, but trust me, you are going to get your money's worth out of this. It is so much fun. I don't want to send it back. I legitimately do not want to send it back, but now that I made this video, there is kind of a paper trail of me saying that it would get lost in the mail, so I probably should send it back, because that's the ethical thing to do as well. But that is Kingdom's Lawn Game from Arthur's Board LLC. Highly, I cannot recommend this one enough to you if you think you are going to be able to get it played. That's the big if here. And if you do, wholeheartedly recommend this one for your friends, for your family, for your kids. It's a great, great game. That is Kingdom's Lawn Game from Arthur's Board LLC. Come to a Kickstarter near you. Be sure to check out that Kickstarter link. Tell them Bowers Game Corner sent you if you do. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below, or in the comments below. Let me know. Can you think of any outdoorsy, gamery games similar to this or different to this that just get you outdoors and playing? Because now that I've played this, I want more of games like this. My wife wants more of games like this. So if you know one, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.